And welcome back to part 12 of What If Naruto was adopted by Mikoto Uchiha, or as it's in the titles, What If Mikoto Uchiha adopted Naruto? Last time on Naruto What If, Jiraiya and Naruto have pretty much finished their training for the Chunin exams. Naruto has got the summoning jutsu pretty much down, he just hasn't summoned Gamabunta or anything like that. And we ended off with on a bit of a humorous note where Jiraiya did the thing where he tossed Naruto into the gorge, trying to get him to access the Fox Chakra. What he forgot to remember, given the fact that Naruto hadn't used any Winjutsu all month, is the fact that Naruto not only knew Winjutsu, but a couple of pretty powerful ones, including Tornado Fish, where he double fisted it and launched himself back out of the canyon, which Jiraiya's like, oh crap. And Naruto went to go tell his mom what Jiraiya did. Jiraiya is now immediately chasing after Naruto, trying to save his own ass. Ultimately, he does catch up with Naruto, gets him in a headlock, and just like, look, you can't tell Mikoto what I did. It was just for training. I mean, she'll understand, wouldn't she? I don't know. Why didn't you ask her, Jiraiya, Privy Sage? She's like, wait, what are you? Oh no! And then poof, the clone pops out, and all of a sudden he just feels the heat and the aura, just like, just demons like, and Jiraiya just kind of does that robotic hit, just like, and just see Makoto Sharingan blazing, just like, Jiraiya, what did I say? Be careful. Don't try to get. That's right. And what did you try to do? And basically, she beats the living hell out of Jiraiya, and then finally, when it's all said and done, it's like, lucky for you, I had Naruto specializes in Winjutsu, and I had the courtesy of being able to help him with that. And I'm glad you've gotten so good at your jutsu, son, that you're able to get out of such a dire situation. Thanks, mom. Jiraiya's just like, it's like, but seriously, you couldn't find another way to get him to access the Fox's chakra. I mean, you didn't have to try to kill my son. Well, I mean, the whole goal was to get him to try to access it at will. But I guess I was just trying to go to some extreme measures. But I mean, look, your son's pretty resourceful. He got out of there. Everything's fine. And besides, he's pretty much got the summoning jutsu down pretty pat. It's like, you really? It's like, yeah, I can summon Gama at this. Gama, me and him gotten actually pretty close. Gamakichi's a pretty cool dude. Gamatatsu's a little, he names off a couple toads he's summoned. He hasn't summoned any of the really big ones yet, but again, we're talking about Naruto using his own chakra. With better chakra control than what he had in the original, and probably a slightly higher normal reserve. Again, that's just through training, repeated, not use, repeated exercises that both increase his stamina, his reserve, and his control. So if Naruto were to use all of his chakra, he probably could summon Bunta or Gamahiru or Gamakaken, and ultimately, but it ultimately just drained him completely. But he could do it, hypothetically. Unfortunately, that's all Naruto gets down for the Chunin exams. But Naruto's far from weak or anything like that, so it's not like he's going to be at an extreme disadvantage. Meanwhile, everyone's talking. Getting ready for the exams. Naruto asks how the training with Sakura went. It's like, oh, Naruto, I wouldn't give a spoil what your teammate's going to bring to the exams. You may have to fight her, It's like, that's true. It would be kind of boring just to know in advance. Oh, yeah, that's good. And have you heard from Sasuke? And unfortunately, Mikoto kind of just, no, that bastard Kakashi's been hogging him all month. Like, when I get my hands on him, it's like, well, what are you going to do to him? Probably not quite as bad as what I did to you, but something at least akin to it. And Jiraiya's just like, Kakashi, you better let her see your son before the exams get here. Now, I do think you still get that moment with Lee, Gaara, Shikamaru, and Naruto. Mind you, Naruto was in the hospital at this point, but I think Naruto would still want to go check in on Lee, because, he got to know Lee a little bit and, liked him for what it was worth. And that's when the, incident comes and Guy comes in, breaks it up. Now, we should actually note something about the exams coming up, particularly the fight between Naruto and Neji, which will probably be the majority of this particular part. Is that Naruto still doesn't like Neji. He doesn't like his attitude. He thinks he's pretty much Naruto thinks he's a stuck-up punk is what he is. Like a spoiled prick who basically just thinks he's superior to others, but is really just a punk. And when you kind of break it down, that was what Neji kind of was. Obviously, Neji wasn't spoiled; he was just gifted, but he had such a superiority problem that, yeah, he was a punk. Now Naruto was kind of his own punk too. Um, uh, but still, anyway. So Naruto's motive for fighting Neji quite isn't quite the same. In this, I mean, it is and it isn't. What I mean by that is, yes, he is motivated by how Neji treated Hinata, talked to Hinata, all that, and Hinata's a good friend of his, so he does not dig on that at all. But at the same time, it's not like he does the whole vow of blood thing that he did against Neji. He looks at her, he looks at Neji, and he's like, "Yo, you need to be taken down a peg." Not just because we did it to Hinata, though that would probably be the main motivating factor, because it's still his friend, and he was a dick to her. The big secondary reason would be that he feels he needs to knock some sense into Neji, which is pretty much the same motivation, but the level of priority is a little different. Like, avenging Hinata is important. Maybe just only like if in the original, let's use a percentage, shall we? In the original, avenging Hinata was like 80% of it, whereas knocking him off his superior high horse was maybe only 20% of it. Here, it's much closer. It's like 55 to 45 in favor of avenging Hinata to knocking him off superiority complex. Ultimately, though, that's where we kind of leave off with that. Now, there's actually still a few days left before the Chunin exam. I can't remember exactly how many days Naruto had. I think it was only like 1 or 2. But still, they've got a couple days. So, Naruto, he's walking around just basically stretching his muscles, just brushing up on things. And, he goes to get some food. And on his way there, he runs into a specific wind user. Temari's there wandering around. He's like, "Oh, you're Naruto, right?" It's like, "Yeah, you're Temari. You're Temari, right? Oh, yeah, I had a run-in with your brother yesterday. He tried to kill a friend of mine." And then Temari actually does look at Naruto and legitimately goes, "Yeah, sorry about that. It's been difficult to explain that." It's like, he said he's like, "Yeah, it has to do with the monster inside him." It's like, he said that? It's like, "Yeah, yeah, I can." And does that bother you? And she briefly kind of explains, it's not really your place, but Naruto seems like a nice guy. And again, he was the cute guy she saw. So he seems also like a nice guy. It's like, it's not the big deal. Guy Sensei came in and broke it up, so it's not a big deal. It's like, I mean, well, still, it's not. I apologize for Gar's behavior. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, what's his deal? It's like, it's kind of hard to explain. Why don't I treat you to some ramen? Call it an unofficial date. Naruto isn't a natural flirter, but he's still got his moments, I'd imagine, this version. And he finds Temari attractive, and she's also seen as very competent. So, yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, you can make the same argument for Hinata, but he's known Hinata more as a friend in this version. Not to say he couldn't develop feelings for Hinata. It's just that's the way it is. And Temari kind of like laughs, like, "Fine, you're on, but I don't know. Fine, you're on. Well, fine. Unofficial date it is." And they kind of just mockingly take their arms, like, "My lady." And Gina walks in, and they are at Ichijiraku. Naruto obviously is putting her arm away, but he's at least being courteous about it. He's not being a pig about it. So he's like, yep. He's being slower with his bowls, and they're talking, getting to know each other. They're sharing laughs. And Tamara notes is like, you can use Winjutsu. It's like, yeah, I noticed that. You're pretty good at that with that fan. Yeah, we didn't show much of that fight against the Inuzuka kid, but you seem pretty confident yourself. Yeah, I didn't show off everything I had, but I still got some tricks up my sleeves. And she knows that wind users are rare in the Leaf Village. Yeah, as far as I know, I'm only one of maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, that's rare. I'm guessing they're more common in the sand. So they're just honestly having a nice conversation. And Temari honestly, I have to say, despite the fact that an invasion's coming and they're going to have to invade, she's really having a nice time talking to Naruto. He's a nice guy. He's attractive. He takes himself seriously as a ninja. And he's a wind user. So it's like all the things. It's like he really is a nice package. And then she does get sad because she realizes that what's going to happen, and she realizes, like, I don't want him to die. But I mean, it's like this is what Dad's planned for us, and she's now just kind of getting depressed. Naruto can see the look in her face. He's like, "Is something wrong, Temari?" It's like, "No, it's nothing. It's just something on my mind." He's like, "Your brother?" It's an easy excuse to make, and she takes it like, "Yeah, you can say that." And she actually does make a point saying that, yeah, the whole monster side of him, he does have something sealed with him. And then Naruto's kind of hearing that, it's like, and Naruto realizing that because they're in a public place, they can't really, and it's village secrets, you can't really necessarily say out loud what it is like. But he does indicate he knows by saying which number. It's like what, uh, which number? And he kind of just starts taking his fingers off, or which number, which tails, which number of tails, and that's kind of like she realizes what he means by that. It's like, wait, how do you know that? Is it? And she kind of, it's like, and he just says, which number of tails? And she just kind of like, and obviously, Tenchi, or Ichiraku himself and his daughter Ayame, they're not gonna like spoil it. Like, this is like, what stays here, what happens here stays here. And she just kind of is like, the Tanuki, huh? Yeah, I mean, I haven't, I can't I say I'm well versed in all of them, but I am a little bit aware of that one from some textbooks. That one's apparently nuts. It's like, wait, but how do you know? It's like, Naruto just kind of looks at her, gives her a look, and he just kind of holds his hands up, and he just holds his hands up, uh, and then real quickly, slowly goes back to his drawing while going, closing his eyes and pointing back to it, and she realizes like he has the nine tails inside of him. Holy crap! If there's one person who could actually understand what Garo went through, it's him. And she's kind of like, "Wow, why are you telling me this?" It's like because I'm guessing your brother had a shit lease on life, and if there's anyone who could maybe relate to that on some level, I can. Granted, I got lucky. I've had a great mom and a family for most of my life. But that doesn't mean I haven't been beloved by the village. Like I said in a lot much earlier chapters, just because he is adopted and adopted in Uchiha clan does not mean he still is freed from persecution. There would still be people who criticize him, judge him, hate him. Um, it's There's no evidence in the actual manga to say that he was beaten up by mobs, something like that. That's usually more of a like a fanfic thing that most people think that like mobs would come and try to kill him a lot of the time or beat the hell out of him. It's never truly said that's what went on. I mean, you could infer based on some things, but ultimately, again, it's not confirmed. And Ichimaru's just like, wow. It's like, why are you telling me this? I don't know. Maybe there's something about you. I mean, in Naruto, to be honest, that's something weird. I like you, Temari. It's like you seem like a good person. You're cool. You take yourself seriously, and you're not bad. Naruto's even again puts on that rare little bit of charm. It's like, and you're certainly not hard to look at. Look at. He gives it like that cheeky fox smile, and Temari actually has a little bit of a blush on her face, like, well, you're easy. You're not too hard on the eyes either, Blondie. It's like, oh, and they kind of just laugh, and finish their meal. And Naruto's just like, well, I guess I'll see you at the exams tomorrow. I'm basically just putting it for tomorrow. And Temari's like, yeah. So I guess I will. I mean, and if we end up fighting, just the best man or woman win. And Naruto just kind of just does a fist bump, and she kind of holds it out and is like, hey, it's like, again, lamenting on what's going to happen. So before before they leave, Naruto turns and she goes, Naruto. It's like, what? And then she just kind of gives him a quick kiss on the cheek, not like a peck, but like a solid like few second kiss. And like Naruto's like, it's like, thank you for a nice evening. And she walks off. And Naruto's like, hey, oh. And then he suddenly gets kind of a goofy grin and says, it's like, oh yeah. It's like, I'm gonna throw that in Sasuke's face. Cut to, finally, the actual part of this chapter you probably really wanted. Well, I'd say chapter, it's part. I only really call I'll probably only ever call the crossover what ifs chapters, because those are stories I actually have to write out more in depth than what I do with the normal what if. Normal what if, I plan it out, but I still I don't actually write it down. With the crossovers, I actually have to write it down so I remember what I'm doing. Because with that, it's closer to fanfic than what I normally do, so I actually have to write the story out. Anyway, you cut to the actual day of the exam, and Sasuke's not there. Makoto's sitting in the crowd, obviously, and just like, where is that freaking half-eyed? Yeah, I think that could be her. That wide-eyed, no, not the half-eyed, wide-eyed scarecrow, white-haired scarecrow. And where is my son? It's like, now calm down, Mikoto. I'm sure everything will be fine. It's like, Ozma, shut up. I want to know where my son is. It's like, you really don't trust Kakashi? Oh, I trust Kakashi. But he promised me that I'd be able to see my son at least a few times during training, and he lied. It's like, that's fair. So anyway, exams again. All the combatants are pretty much just going to the stands to wait, except for Naruto and Neji because their match is up. And Naruto and Neji face off. Neji's just like, you should give up now. You may be Uchiha. Maybe it's clear that you're maybe an Uchiha. You may hold some sort of strength, but you can't beat me. Destiny's fate said I am fated to win. It's just like Destiny fated me to win against Hinata. So Naruto finally just looks at him and just goes, "Do you ever shut up with that crap?" It's like, I don't expect you to understand. Yeah, I don't understand. You keep preaching about that. But as far as I remember, you completely thought Hinata wouldn't be worth your time. She actually gave you one hell of a fight, if I remember. In fact, she actually gave you a couple injuries. How is that wrist, by the way? And the way Neji just... It's like, enough talk. It's enough talk. Uchiha. Let's this match begin. First match begins. Naruto faces off. He's already makes a couple clones because obviously he knows better. It's like, I see, clever. You made clones to split your chakra up. I can't tell which one to use the real one. But still, it won't be enough. Naruto, Naruto clones get completely owned by Neji. Naruto makes a bunch more clones, obviously. Like, his main strategy still stays the same as it did in the original. And trying to overwhelm the clones. Meanwhile, Naruto's already setting up a couple other tricks. As Neji just bum rushes him, and it bum rushes and just tags him. It doesn't matter how many clones you make. If you just stay behind the front line, it's easy to find you. And then Naruto obviously coughs up. Let's say, is it now? And then Naruto summons your Futa. It's like wind style, Gale Pump Barrage, and just trying to blast Neji rotations. Like, what the hell is that the wind? Is that my wind dome? As Naruto's Gale Pump gets blasted back. Is that my Gale Pump? Or wind dome? No, that's something else. Yes, this is the Hyuga art of rotation, and Hashi's amazed by what he's seeing. Like, now then, let's try this again. And him and Naruto get into a close range fight. Now Naruto's actually now fully prepared because Naruto wasn't trying to be truly serious. He was trying to feel Neji out in the beginning. So Naruto pulls out kunai, ready to go. And they're going toe to toe, back and forth. Naruto is unpredictable in his style. Neji is obviously the superior hand-to-hand fighter, but he's still unpredictable enough in his style that he is able to throw Neji off to some degree. But Neji is still ultimately able to get the better of him, tags Naruto a couple times. However, what he wasn't expecting was for Naruto to throw the shuriken up in the air, and all of a sudden, two of the clones that were hiding in the trees in that area, because there were trees in that arena, suddenly release Neji suddenly hears great breakthrough, and the kunai suddenly rushed towards Neji. He has to dodge it and gets actually a nick on his. He's like, "You bastard!" And Naruto just comes in, has already done the hand sign, just preparing to release the technique. Comes for a punch, like, you're not. You really think you'll you catch me by surprise? Rotation, 8 pounds rotation, wind style. And all of a sudden, he hears Naruto yell, "Wind style, window." So what? Because I don't believe he showed that technique off, if I'm not mistaken, in the when I did the Kiba versus him fight. That was a few chapters ago, so I might have. But either way, it's just like, wait, what? And basically, it looks almost the exact same as Neji's technique, except blue instead, or green because of the wind. Because the wind kind of has a greenish look to it when you look like at the Rasengan, Shuriken. And Neji's like, it looks, and Neji's blue. It's like, what? And they're grinding and clashing with each other. The difference is Naruto has the stamina to keep it up much longer than Neji does. Because we don't know what Neji's chakra reserves are really like. His chakra capacity. It's inferred that the Hyugas don't have a severely large amount because their style is much more about chakra control, but it's also not implied that they have like weak glow amounts either. I mean, and Neji probably had a solid amount, but again, compared to Naruto, it's nothing. Like Naruto's base chakra is much higher than even Kakashi's base chakra. So you have to ask the question: do you think Neji's base chakra was higher than Kakashi's at that point? I don't think many people would say it was. I'm sure you might get someone who argues it. I just don't think it was. Honestly, I don't think any Genin in the Hidden Leaf had more chakra than Kakashi, save for Naruto, and that's only because of his heritage, really. Anyway, so Naruto's eventually, his window basically wins out because Neji realizes there's a battle of attrition that he will lose because he doesn't have the stamina compared to Naruto to keep it up. Naruto also just kind of puts the seal and just increases the speed of the rotation to the point where it actually starts to create friction and fire starting. And the moment that little spark happens and a little bit of flame from the friction happens, the two chakras, two attacks colliding, actually ignites the window. And Naruto's just like, crap, it's like, I didn't expect that. Just suddenly expands it. Just, Neji nearly gets blown back. But Naruto's blinded, which Neji's not, because Neji can still see through the chakra, the chakra wall. And suddenly just, comes in, just, it comes in, just, you're within my range. 8 dragons, and then it starts tagging Naruto. Naruto immediately just like crap and starts getting tagged. Because even though we see it 2 pops, 4 pops, 8 pops, we see it like within the 10-second span. I have to believe it was having a much quicker time frame. So Naruto's trying to get up a tornado fist, but Neji is tagging him, and just, and he just suddenly gets pulled. Yeah, my terrible impression. Just No, Naruto obviously gets thrown around, and Hinata's just like, no, Naruto. I'm not going to do my Hinata brush, mostly because I had to really get high pitched, and it just sounds. I heard someone say it sounded like a little bit of a high pitched Mickey Mouse. Naruto, whoa, gentle fist style, whoa. Anyway, so Naruto gets blown back, and he struggles to get back up, and Neji gives his whole background, and Naruto just says, yeah, it sucks to be treated like crap. Now, obviously, Naruto had a much different childhood here, but he still has an understanding of people discriminating against him for one reason or another, and kind of underestimating him. And obviously, losing his entire family, thanks to Itachi, still gives them a leg up compared to Neji. And, the whole is like, it sucks, but so what? And then Neji comes in, for the finishing blow. What surprises Neji is that Naruto he thought he closed off all Naruto's chakra reserves. What Naruto actually ended up doing, because of his unpredictable style of fighting, is kind of move slightly to the end. Now, a lot of his chakra points did get sealed up, but Naruto still has enough open. Like, Neji was aiming for 64. He got maybe 30. He got maybe half, maybe a little above, like 35. So Naruto was able to avoid that. So he's still able to get just enough chakra. It's like, it's like, this is over. It's like, yeah, you're right. And all of a sudden, Naruto just kind of just flares up his tornado fist just by sheer force of will. Activates his tornado fist without a hand sign or anything like that. Another thing he was kind of working on in like the last few days of the tuning exam when he wasn't with Jiraiya. And just, and Neji's stuck in midair for the attack. It's like, what technique is that? It's like, ooh. And even in Temari, she's suddenly like, oh, wow. And it's like, kind of like that smile, like, oh, yeah, that's hot. It's like, tornado fist. His signature technique just, boom, it's like, oh, crap. And then just, rotation. Tries to stop it, but Naruto just like, and suddenly kicks himself off. He's like, no, you don't. And just hits the rotation. And because Naruto's able to get the rotational direction proper, or correct, I guess would be a better term, he suddenly cancels out Neji's rotation, and Neji just gets smacked with it, just into the ground, just boom, and then just and then he just tries to get up, and all of a sudden Naruto's just got a blade right behind his neck, grabs an arm, puts a blade right into his neck, like, and he just says, "This is over," and this is over, and this was for Hinata. And I think you owe, and one hour, and you owe her. Wait, this is over, and not only is this over, but this is for Hinata. You owe her an apology. This is over. It's something within that range, realm. It's just a matter of the order of the sentence. And the winner is like, Neji's like, damn, and like, Neji is unable to battle. The winner is Naruto Uzumaki. Yeah. You'll know I did not go with the Kurama's chakra angle this time around because he's had less interactions with Kurama. He's only accessed the Fox chakra really once so far in this version. So when is Naruto really going to meet Kurama? Haven't planned that quite out yet, but don't worry. We're not there yet, but we will eventually have the meet Kurama. Obviously, we're gonna have meet Kurama, but when it will happen, who knows? But yeah, the winner is Naruto Uzumaki. So Naruto goes up and Naruto goes up to the winner's stand as the Neji gets kind of carted off to the medics, and he goes back up. Shikamaru just says it was a drag, but good win. And Kankuro even goes, yeah, not bad at all. And Temari just goes, okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was sexy. Naruto's like, I told you I told you I had a few tricks up my sleeve. It's like, yes, you did. I can see something like that happening. I mean, yes, it's clear I'm kind of aiming for Temari Naruto in terms of pairing, but like I don't usually start off with a pairing. Like I don't like chapter one. People aren't usually dating or anything like that. But they're teenagers, they got hormones, and they're ninjas, so they could die at any moment. So I do like to set that up. I do like to actually try to incorporate relationships a bit more than, say, just the original story did when it comes to at least Naruto. Because Naruto wasn't a romance, it's not shonen. Shonen is what it was. Seinen? Seinen? Is that what it's called? Anyway, no, what was it called? Shoujo? Was that what it's called? Anyway, it wasn't a romance manga. It was an action manga with some good storytelling and all that. That's not to say there wasn't a few hints of romance. Obviously, people did eventually get married at the end, but still. Anyway, I digress. So that is the end of chapter 12. We'll call it a chapter. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll cut back to what's going on with the rest of the exams later on. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, magic, whatever, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. I will be back. This is Wednesday, so actually I'm done with my videos today. I'll be back tomorrow with another What If. It'll be part 12 of the Pokemon What If I'm doing. Pokemon My Hero Academia crossover I'm doing. If I'm not mistaken, it's part 12. Might be part 11 or 12 or 13. One of those. Anywho, thanks for watching. Oh, hit that bell if you want notifications. Until then, thanks for watching. Later, folks.